for cities. But I just think like the long range stuff is kind of rough. Even though yes, you can path your travel for like refueling, recharging stations, etc. It just the amount of time you waste by like having to sit there and do that. It makes trips super long. So no, it's not a Prius. What hobbies do I enjoy? Basketball, but I haven't been able to do that for quite a while because I got a fucked up knee. My liege, the carriage awaits you to remove. How long is recharge? If it's like, what is it? If it gets near 0, I think if you're trying to recharge fully on a Tesla, it's got to be like 15 to. Is it somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes? I mean, one of you might own one in the chat. I could, you know. I have no clue what Celine is. I have no clue. Glad boys. Sorry. I don't know shit about it. Yes, Neck9. I did. Enjoyed it today. So yeah, that's the thing. Like if it's exactly with a bin packer, with how long that is, it doesn't matter if it's in the city because you can just charge it at home, you know? But man, it's just the long trips. But I know someone who has one and it's really nice. Yeah. All right. Let's go. Is this no, it's not Word of, but just in case anybody did not know, today is actually Cypher's birthday. So if you have his Twitter or whatever, go ahead and wish him a happy birthday. The man just turned, what is it 31 today? I think. I think he's a year younger than me, and then Avek's a year younger than him. Majul, is it Majuler or Majuler? But thank you, very kind. All right, let's get started with this, guys. Let's get into the finals. So, I know a lot of people have been misunderstanding what the server rules are, how things work for the grand finals, etc. And seriously, we've tested a lot of different rule sets. We've voted on things, and we've come to what we feel is like the most fair option. So how it works is whoever is the winner bracket final winner, since we're having to play online, they start with the first server, which actually, in the grand scheme of things, isn't that bad. So how it works for the best of 7, and the reason we do best of 7 as well is because if we did a full bracket reset and we had to play like 2 best of 5s, that takes up so much potential time that it like really overruns on the schedule that we need to kind of do our best to stay with. It's just too long. So because, whoever wins the winner bracket still hasn't lost in the tournament yet, that's why they get to start with a 1 map advantage. So like when Cypher was the winner bracket winner for, what was it, stage 3 last year, he was the one that had the advantage going into it against Kilson. Kilson managed to win. But I think the way that the server format works for the finals is really fair because this is the only time where we have an even number of maps potentially if we go the distance. So it'll start on, for us too, it'll start on NA for Molten, then EU for Deep Embrace, NA for Corrupted, it would be EU for Exile, NA for Veil, and then if the player from the lower bracket makes it all the way to the final map, it's on their server. So they technically would have the slight advantage, even with how good the netcode is in QUAKE Champions with playing cross-continental, they would have that advantage going into the final map. They would have earned that by making it all the way there. So that's like the last stage when I played Razy and we went to the final map. I had to beat him at him playing at his best on the EU server, just the way that it works out. So in the end, in the finals, if it goes the distance, all the like server stuff is played evenly. So then how it works for picks and bans is I get to choose one map out of the pool that is just a default win. I decided to choose Ruins. And then it goes into he gets to choose. And it goes, so he chooses, I choose, blah, blah, blah. So he chose Molten. He's been playing very solidly on Molten against multiple opponents. Even if he lost, it would be very, very close. So I just think it's a good comfort pick for him lately. So he decided to pick that. Then I picked Deep Embrace. I just felt like, based off of the champions that we would be picking and banning, that I could get a good matchup here. And I just have really been playing very solidly on Deep Embrace. So I decided to pick that instead of Corrupted Keep. And then he opted to pick Corrupted for me. So I was like, all right, third map potentially Corrupted. So, no matter how I'm doing here, I have a good map that I play, coming up at a pivotal point within the series. Then I decided to pick Exile. He picked Veil, and then Awoken would have been last. And so how the draft ended up working is I get to ban first, and Cypher, even though Slash can be tough to play into Sorlag, like Sorlag, Scale, Strog on Molten right now, he's just so good with Slash that I didn't even want to bother with it. I was like, you know what, just get this shit out of here. Right now she's in such a state where it's like she's like a must ban versus some players, or she doesn't get really played at all because of the map pool. Because she's really good on Molten and Ruins right now, and kind of meh on everything else. So I got rid of her, which left the first pick for him, and he decided to pick Strog, which he's been playing very well with Strog throughout the tournament, as well as Strog is a very good pick for me. And so what I think he was doing is taking something that he felt comfortable with, as well as trying to deny a good pick for myself at the same time. So this was a good choice by him to pick Strog. It's very solid, like safe first pick. There's not too much that like hard counters it or whatever, so it's a good balanced pick on Molten Falls. And so what I decided to do is I had a few options, but I went the route of trying to play Sorlag into it to potentially match, even though the hitbox is a bit bigger, to match mobility with Strog, and it's a pretty even matchup. And I wanted to take Sorlag off the table because Cypher as well, that's another champion along with Strog that he'd been playing very well, not only through the playoffs, but previously through the regular season. So I kind of did the same thing he did. He picked a good champion that's been there for me, and I picked a good champion that's been there for him, so that they're both like off the table right away. And then as we go to Deep Embrace, he gets to ban a champion. And very wisely, he decided to ban Doom, because I don't think I've lost with Doom yet on Deep Embrace. And since I would get the first pick here, he didn't want me to be able to take that. As well as a decent kind of matchup against it with Sorlag is off the table. Sorlag's not available, so he can't just kind of like leave it in there and hope that I take it and he takes Sorlag and hopes that he outplays me throughout the game. So he did that. I picked Ranger, which I have really liked on Deep Embrace lately, and he decided to pick Death Knight, which after the buffs with Death Knight, this matchup has become much more even, because yes, even though the potential burst from Ranger is better, and if you time like the orb correctly in certain fights, you could go past the Flame Strike. But to be honest, with the way the Flame Strike works now, it's much easier to get the burst damage off as Death Knight than it is Ranger now. So it makes this matchup a lot more even. As well as Death Knight's hitbox is just a bit smaller than Ranger's, so in head-to-head like LG fights, you'll typically hit a little harder as Death Knight. And we all know how excuse me, how hard Cypher hits with LG, as we'll see when we watch the map. Then I decided to ban Keel, because he's been playing so well with Keel. It's been a good comfort pick for him. So I'm just trying to get rid of the stuff that I've noticed has made the game easier for him and what he's on. So I decided to get rid of that. And then he's choosing a champ that he's done all right with, but more so I think he's trying to make sure that I don't get it. Because my success with playing BJ on Corrupted Keep has been very, very high. And uh, the last stage finals, I played him in, what was it, like the quarterfinals or something, and I played BJ against him, and it was like a 10 plus frag difference on Corrupted Keep. So I think he was like doing his best to keep it out of my hands and try to play, you know, a nice even game. So I decided to pick Aizen because I think Aizen is not necessarily like a good, it's not like a direct counter to BJ, but it's a pretty even matchup. And I like Aizen into BJ on this map more so than I like Galena. So I decided to leave that on the table. He decided to ban Nyx, which is a decent ban because she's good on Exile and Awoken. And then here I picked Galena on this map. He decided to pick Scale to take it from me so I don't get it on the next map, etc. And then how it works with the best of 7 is once you reach 4 maps, you don't ban anymore because there's only 4 champions left. Whereas like in the best of 5, you would ban one for the final map and then you'd have 3 to pick from. So here's where the banning stops, and then it's just picking from there. And so since I picked first here, I picked Galena, then he picked Scale, then he gets to pick immediately. So he picked Athena on Veil, and then I got to pick like counter pick, and I decided to pick Clutch for this map because I felt like I would have a better chance if it went to a final map having like an Anarchy Visor matchup. And so that's why I decided to just, it could be a potential gamble if it goes that far, but I had to hope that I would won enough maps regardless to make a better matchup for the final map. And so that's how that ended up working out. So let me go ahead and find when we start. Okay, so the keys going into Molten here. Okay, so the keys going off to Molten here with these champions is whoever uses whoever utilizes their ability better, especially the Sorlag, you have to be utilizing Spit properly. You can't be wasting that shit and then dying because when Strahd gets a kill, the Stroyant drops from your body. And he can use the Stroyant to cleanse the dot from the Spit. So you really need to be using the Spit wisely in this matchup to use it for zoning or just making sure that you know that there's going to be an all-in fight so that even if he survives and cleanses himself, he's going to be too weak and it's like a trading scenario where you're trading your life to get control back. And then as the Strahd player, you're really looking for a couple opportunities around, let's say, the heavy area and the mega area to try to have a fight where you know the Sorlag is going to be above you, and so you try to deal like drive-by damage, and then as you're dropping, you pop peekers so that when they're going to try to peek over the ledge to fight you, that you're lighting them up, and they have to decide whether they shoot peeker or whether they're trying to shoot you. And since Sorlag's hitbox is so big, if you choose incorrectly at certain times, like peeker will just devastate you with all of the hitting all of the little plasma bolts that he fires, and then the kamikaze damage to follow up with that. So it really comes down to finding good situations with that and making sure that you die at the right time in this matchup, especially as Sorlag. You cannot be as this tank. You can't be trying to survive too much. So you can't be stuck around with 100 health and nothing to do, because that's when Strahd will be at his strongest, and he'll just be able to dictate the pace of the game and do whatever he wants. So you really need to make sure that if control is really in flux, you don't give it away for free. You have to find good times to trade if you're like on the outs on the map. And that's just how it has to be played, because you can potentially match his mobility off the spawn, and vice versa, because of the great movement of crouch sliding from Strahd and the air control from Sorlag, to be able to fight and contest for items. So I'll have to start here. This is just pretty standard. Let me go ahead and like rewind just a sec here to see the exact spawn. So I spawn on this, and because he has Peeker and I know he's going to spawn at Rocket Launcher, he would potentially have the advantage going into going into the rail room because he could make it there like just as we'd get there at the same time, but he could potentially deal rocket damage and then pop peeker, and I can't spit on him, and then I can't fight him with shotgun or machine gun, and so I could take a bunch of bad damage right away. So it's not a good fight that I want to take. So I just want to play the safe route, and I want to collect the heavy immediately rather than trying to get the light armor at rail and then the heavy to, you know, maximize all of the armor possible.
We're going to be following through the eyes of Rapha. Take it away.
So now I move in here since I have all of the stack now. If he showed up late, now I can fight because I am healthy enough to do it. So I clear the area, and since he's not even here, then I know, okay, he's likely picked up Mega at the same time as heavy. It'll be between like 2 and 6. And then he's going to go one of two ways. He's going to work his way over to LG, or he's going to try to work underneath, you know, type deal to go to rail. So I'm going to move to try to, you know, listen out on where he's going and see if I can catch him with a good rail or machine gun fire, and try to just pepper in some damage and see what I can do as far as like getting more weapons. So I start moving in here to see if he was like going over towards LG and to try to catch him with a rail. And he actually approaches to deny rocket, which is a decent fight because, again, he has peeker. So if he caught me moving up here at the wrong time, he could lay a good entry rocket and then pop peeker around the corner where I can't attack him yet. And he could maybe deal a bunch of damage. So I like the decision that he's making. He's dealt a lot of damage here with machine gun, but I answer with a really good rail here. And so now it's just about like working my way out, figuring out what he's going to do, and just cover my angles. And the one thing that I need to know is that the armor at rail is available. So he's trying to work his way there. So I'm going to move in since I have spit, and I'm going to try to see what I can do in this close range encounter with shotgun. He goes above. I don't get as much of a good shot at first. So what I do is I use the spit here to hopefully blind him, which it does because it hits him with a direct. So it makes it hard for him to see. And now I'm like, okay, I just need to try to escape. Right now, the best thing to do is to escape, try to play between the items, since they're going to come up around the same time, and just trade them off. So I do, and that's why he didn't peek right away for extra damage, because he still couldn't see clearly. So now he's deciding to back off to go get LG, to get heavy. And so I'm just covering this in case he's trying to be aggressive and move in with LG himself. Since he didn't, I'm like, all right, I'll take this, and I'm going to work my way to get my own LG now. So we all have really good guns now. It's all about trying to find the first like entry damage at this point, and then whoever can try to take control of the rotation from here. So he's here. I know that this armor comes up before everything, so even though I hear him above me, I try to like get some good tri-bolt spam to trade damage. And that rail, it's okay for him to hit that, but it doesn't mean as much because I'm going to be able to collect this, and he can't really follow up with any more clean damage, so we're still pretty even.
Tri-bolt damage does come out from Rapha. Both players just kind of pecking away.
So right now I'm seeing if I can move into the heavy area. I know that he's still here based off of how he spammed, so what I'm going to look for is just damage, see if I can damage him post-heavy since he can't collect any armor over here at Railgun. That it's not available, and then I'm going to try to back off. Okay, I don't hit any damage, and he already started the crouch slide. So at that point, me trying to follow up with more damage there has the potential where he can get away with his speed, and then he can get control of the whole map. So I know that based off of like how I missed and how he's moving there, I can't contest for anything more. You just have to accept that my opportunity failed. I didn't do anything. Just back off. Make sure the control is equal again. I do. The biggest thing is I have tabs on the heavy armor. So now I'm waiting it out. I'm seeing if he's trying to come clear space. We're both doing the same thing. We find each other. And so now it's just about trying to deal damage. We both do about equal damage. So here I come back. I decide to take this armor so that I'm going to be a little more stacked than him. See what he's up to. And then here, this is a rough area for Strog, you know, against Sorlag, because if he drops and I spit correctly, the health is up here. And I'm blocking off the other health that he can get to. So it would be different if I'm like above him, I spit down, and then he manages to get out and to cleanse his health you know, like cleanse the dot at the rail, but I'm blocking off the easiest access to do that. So now it's like time to take.
Congrats on the win at QPL.
No, thank you. It's time to take a good fight here and see what I can do, because even if he starts dealing a lot of damage, if he starts going this way, I'm going to be able to see him through the wall with the ticking 10 health. Like every time it ticks, I'll see which path he's taking. And he's kind of trapped here, so it's a good opportunity for me to deal a lot of damage. So I catch him with a lot of LG. I don't hit that, but that's fine. And so now it's better to just get away immediately, not worry about the 25 that's behind me, and make sure that I get this health before he can get a rail angle. Because even if he tries to chase me to Mega, then I can't die within one rail, and it'll allow me to get it. So I just rush my way over to Mega. I'm trying to look behind me to cover myself. And so now, see how I've come out really well in this situation, because he has no green armor to fall onto. I did all of the damage post the armor pickup. And so now I'm going to try to work my way over to that armor. I know he might not have Peeker back yet, and I'm just going to try to see if I can bully him. And I'm going to look for him maybe collecting some health. Okay, so as soon as he makes that drop, I need to keep pushing. Because one of two things. I'm going to take position above him and maybe, you know, find a good shot. And if I keep the speed that I have going and he goes up the jump pad, I'll be able to potentially catch him for a kill here.
We get a frag somewhere around now.
The only way that works out bad for me is if the first rocket that he fires catches me like direct as I'm moving through at full speed. Otherwise there, like his positioning and how he tried to escape, he's kind of piped. Like there's not much he can do. And so there I just hit quick like LG to follow up with the floater into the rail, and I secure the first frag of the game. And so now I'm going to move over to the rail to try to secure the armor, because I know that he'll likely spawn at rocket, and then I move back over here. He spawned by the armor, so instead of going for rocket, he decided to move his way here and move down underneath, which is a good move from him, because I'm not that healthy after all of our engagements. So he's trying to contest for control. So my job now is to do my best to get out and to potentially punish him. And so what I'm going to do here is try to get position above. He only has machine gun and maybe LG if he slid over it in time. And so yeah, so I'm just going to try to deal rail damage and see if I can spit on him as he's like taking the heavy.
He can still make his
so I get out. He crashes the peeker early because he's afraid of taking too much free damage. Because if he messes it up, he could potentially die before he takes the heavy. So it's a good panic decision from him to do that. It was actually very good for him to crash it early because the penalty for messing up was way too much there. So I hit him with a good rail. And here I'm just trying not to die. Because, you know, I have a big hitbox. If I peek incorrectly here, he'll light me up with LG. So I successfully puke onto the heavy. It's going to deal damage. And I'm going to look for another exit rail before I rush over to the Mega. And so now I've dealt so much damage, he's going to be hesitant to approach. And even though I'm railable here, I kind of need to just go for this. So that I try to secure the Mega and then secure the armor afterwards. And I do. I take the short path to cover myself in case he moved here, which he was already thinking about. And so now I need to work my way back to this side of the map and try to bully him away from rail. And I really have the opportunity here to take full control of the map. So I take this, and now as soon as I've heard him like near the banana, I know he's likely not going to chase me. So I take the position that's most dangerous next, which is up at shotgun, as if he rushes up to from the tri-bolt to shotgun to deal aerial damage from above, and I potentially don't trade any back, it could be really bad. So I'm going to clear it first. Thankfully with Sorlag, I have the mobility to do this. So now I get the heavy. I know that I need to rush over to the Mega. As he's mispositioned himself, though, I know that I have time now, based off his escape through the portal, to try to look to damage him before I take the Mega. So I hit the rail. And now that I've hit the rail, and I'm so stacked, it's fine to leave it up to look for the kill here. If I was a different champion and I didn't have the same mobility, I wouldn't be doing this. This is because I can match it right now. So I'm going to try to chase him down with shotgun, see if I can get another kill, and then go collect the Mega.
And the hunt is the right word to use.
So I make sure I don't hit my head there. I just keep following. And then here, as soon as I saw him slide down, I didn't think that shotgun would kill him, and I didn't want him to get away. So I was like, the best opportunity is to switch to rail, even though his health is kind of low, and to try to shoot at the corner and kill him before he leaves. And I managed to catch him. So now I know I need to go collect the Mega. I still have perfect track of the heavy time as well. So there's a big split. So I know that this armor isn't going to come up. He's overstepped his bounds. It's time to just push all in here. He pops the peeker at a good time. He just doesn't get as much damage as he was looking for. He got maybe like 40 or 50 there instead of like 90, which would then make me potentially railable. And since I'm not railable here and he only has LG and rail left, it's time to chase him down with shotgun, because even if I'm weak, he's not going to have a good spawn. I'm going to be able to collect the heavy and then collect health afterwards. This is a really good opportunity to be aggressive and to extend the lead.
The peeker is there as well, but in between, Rapha knows, just baits out the rail.
So it works out even better because I managed to dodge the rail, don't take any damage. And that rocket, even though it deals like 30 to 40 damage, is pretty huge. Because that armor is gone. That lets me know where he is, that he did try to rush in to get the rail, thinking that I wouldn't cover that angle. And so now I know that I can just work myself over to the Mega side and potentially take another fight, take some damage, and deny all the armor from him now. And this is the most dangerous point against Sorlag. Like, Strog he really needed to avoid this happening during the game. And the big turnaround was that heavy off the refrag. So I killed him once, and then he tried to rush the heavy, and I got the rail spit and rail damage again. I played around the weapon advantages that I had very, very well, and it resulted in me getting the full death cycle on the map, and it's going to be really hard for him to stop me. So I just cover my ass in case he decides to rush and try to rail me from behind. So now I'm just like slowly clearing my way here, thinking he might be below, and I just secure both majors again. So now I'm looking for him to like go for weapons. I barely see him there. I know both lights are up, so now I'm trying to catch him with a little bit of damage, maybe see if he's not going to go for the heavy. I'm like, okay, I need to go back because heavy's coming up. He's like thinking about going for heavy, but I don't think he has the exact timing. And so that's why he starts to go back up the pad instead of waiting for the heavy here. And that's a mistake. Like here, if he already dropped, he just needed to go for the all-in. He just needed to collect the heavy, take it from me, and try to see what happens. But him going up the jump pad here leads to his death, because I'm so stacked that I don't even have to go for the heavy right away. I can just go after him.
25, and that's not a whole lot.
I do. He mistimes the peeker and what I'm going to do, and so I just combo with rocket into spit.
He is caught yet again.
And there's no way he can escape. And I rocket jumped immediately, not worrying about going towards the railgun, because I want to cut off position here above the Mega. And the fastest way for me to do that and to deny him from getting rocket launcher was to take this path. And then I know that he'll likely spawn at LG, and he might want to push towards the armor itself. But if I go there, you have to look at it. Like, I'll be probably 105 health by the time I get there. There's a 25 bubble. So really, I'll be like 130 health. Then there's the other armor there as well. So I'm really going to be like 192 if I pick it up at the right time during the fight. So I am super stacked compared to him, where he's going to be 120 and 50 moving into the fight with just LG. So this is a good opportunity for me to maybe catch him trying to contest control off the respawn and pick up another frag. And indeed, he falls into this trap here. He probably thought I wouldn't make it there as quickly as I did, that I would like make my way around to rail or some shit, but I didn't. So we're here, and now it's time to do battle. It's pretty predictable dodging from both players, so we're both going to take a lot of damage. And man, even though I lit him up there, look at the amount of damage that I took, man. Like, look at that. I go from being like 105, 138 all the way down to 42-12. He just destroyed me in that fight. Thankfully, I got all this shit to pick up, though. So I'm still okay. It would have been worse if I like fought on the armor and then like let's see here. If I would have like taken position and fought on the armor and collected it like when I barely need it, I would be in a situation right now where I'd be only like 160 and like 10 or 20. Where then like I couldn't push into the heavy like I'm about to do now. I would have to start playing much slower. But here I can continue to try to deny it, like trying to push in, taking my time, trying to figure out what he's going to do. Okay, he drops, so I'm going to look to deal damage. But as soon as he takes the jump pad, it's my cue to steal the heavy, because I know the exact timing on it. Again, he might not have had exact timing on the heavy for some reason, based off the chaos of the last fight around there. And so he gives up the position. Even though I'm going to potentially take damage, this is kind of bad, because even if he gets the kill, he's not going to get full control now. And so he actually misses the rail, doesn't get any peeker damage, and I get out with the heavy for free. So that's a mistake there. I'm going to fight for this mega, even if I take damage. It's okay. I take a lot of damage there. That's fine. So my next objective now is I know that, okay, this is the potential turning point in the game for him. He could go get the light armor rail, and he could start getting the full cycle of the map. So no matter what, I need to try to find a good engagement and all in him at the next heavy. Make sure that he doesn't get it for free and that it buys me time before mega. So I don't hit him with any damage through. He hits a nice rail, but I spam this really well so that he can't escape very easily. And I think he's like a little tentative. He probably thinks that I can take another rail. And that's why he's also not pushing. He's like misjudging my stack after like the mega and the heavy fight. So that's why he's not like pushing aggressively through the spit and trying to kill me. So I've taken the one avenue that he can cleanse the spit anyway right there. Otherwise he has to like extend himself to the health behind me by LG. And so now I'm just trying to escape and like survive and then try to deal max damage. So now I know that he's getting spit on, so I look to shoot. I don't hit anything. I look to maybe escape and to try to get mega, and then here as I hit my head, I know that I've messed up. I've messed up to the point where now if I try to keep escaping, I don't have enough distance between us. And so I'm going to try to just like, you know, just accept death and try to trade damage. I don't deal much at all. Like, that rocket looked like I should have dealt a lot more, but I only dealt 16. And so now I'm like, okay, well, I tried to deal a lot of damage before this next like cycle so that he doesn't get the death cycle, and that shit did not work out. I did like almost nothing. So my job now is to try to waste time, minimize his effectiveness with this control, and again try to find an opportunity where I can deal a lot of damage and trade it back so that my stack off the respawn can potentially overwhelm him.
Now can he start to put some frags
and I have that luxury because I have a 4 frag lead. So right now he's like clearing the top, getting all the guns he needs, was seeing if I would go for that armor. I like what he's doing. So I catch him here because I know right now I was trying to see whether he would go for heavy again or whether he would go for this armor because I don't necessarily need it. Right here I value the position more. So as I spit on him here, I'm gonna, the last like drop of spit, I'm gonna spit here at the doorway. So that if he keeps chasing me to the heavy, even if he like cleansed himself after this first bit, he's gonna have it reactivated. So if he tries to fight me at the heavy, he'll be taking the tick damage the whole time.
Challenge, whatever happens.
So we're fighting, we're both hitting a shit ton. And that rail that I switched to at the end, just trying to deal max damage, leads to us having a trade. Because again, it was really important that I laid the spit down like I did through the area rather than just trying to spit all over him at the rail. I like trailed it behind me, kind of like the path where I'm gonna go. And it ends up being the difference maker in this fight.
She is looking really strong, but they trade.
So we trade out. I get a good spawn for this next mega. I'm just trying to deny if he comes through with LG. Since he doesn't, I carefully secure mega, and I'm like, okay, then he probably spawned rail, and he's trying to get LG now. So let me just work my way towards guns. And since I heard him traveling underneath, like, okay, now's the time with the speed that I have to not back out towards the center. It's to take position above him. Because I have rockets, shotgun, I can secure myself in LG. And I have good position for this fight. kind of zone him out. I drop, start dealing a lot of damage, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna. The worst case scenario here is I take a rail, but I'm still gonna get the heavy, and I'll be like 120, 100, whereas like he'll be 100 health, 50 armor.
He is pushed out.
So that works out, and then here I catch him trying to be too cheeky, like he's looking for a rail to make the difference so that he can contest the mega. So he stuck around in this area to see if he could just rail me going towards Rocket, because that's like the predictable route for me to take right now is Sorelag, to go from Rocket to then above Mega to try to secure position. But instead I use the air control for her to like overwhelm him. And if he misses this shot, he's dead. And so he's dead. Even if he hits it, I probably am going to close in and get the kill. Like, if he was going to look for anything like that, he needed to run to this position and either rail me here or rail me in the hallway, like as I'm chasing him. Then he would have potentially the armor to fall back onto. But because he overextended himself to look for a cheeky angle there, that leads to his death.
Oh, and unfortunately, Cypher hits his head.
So now I'm just clearing to see if he would like make the predictable route from rail. He chooses the other route. We don't deal any damage. It's fine. Slowly clearing. And here I'm just hoping to see, okay, maybe I can catch another kill here. I have a little bit of time. Maybe he's trying to safely work his way over to this armor because the heavy and the other light come up at the same time, where he knows that I should still be stacked after not taking any damage and that I can't really deny it. He might be coming for this. So I look to see if he crosses back. He doesn't. I'm like, okay, I can't waste any more time. I come back to make sure that I keep securing full control since we have less than 4 minutes left, and I have a decent lead here. Just need to keep control and make sure that if he gets a frag, it takes as long as possible to get it back. So again, I know that he's 100, so I'm just taking position to secure the mega. I do. And so now I'm just trying to be annoying, cut him off in the center of the map, make sure that I get position on heavy again.
Time is starting to trickle out of his favor.
So I try to spam and catch him as he comes through the portal. I don't, but it's okay. Because I'm super stacked here. It's really hard for him to do anything. Even with that rail, I still have the right to push this area, because if he stays here to rail me, guess what? I'm going to have this armor and this health to pick up. If he decides to attack, he's going to come through a choke, and then I can spit all over this and keep fighting. He decides to drop instead of railbailing, which is fine. So I've spit onto the mega so that even if he tries to escape, he's going to take a few more hits before he gets to the health, and that might knock off the health overstack. So I decide to back off. I focus on trying to now deny him this armor before the heavy comes up. So I try to RJ boost my way over there to cut him off first. He actually guesses that I would do that, and he stopped at the right time, and he hit a really nice rail here, which makes me pretty vulnerable, and I can't move in as smoothly as I want to into the heavy now. So I just make sure that I don't die to, like, there's a small rail angle there you can take. And so here, I know that we're about 50-50, and I kind of just need to take this fight and see what happens. So I'm like clearing the bottom, I start clearing the top, and he moves in super aggressively, and I just catch him with a really good rocket. This could be 50-50. When he was moving in, if he predicted better where I would go, he could have dealt a lot of damage. I deal a lot there. I'm still trying to clear him some more. He pops the peeker. I'm just looking to see if I can kill him, like, as he's taking the heavy and trying to leave now. And if I die, it's okay. I'll still have a 4-frag lead. I should have a good enough, stack off the respawn, and he should be too weak to be able to do anything yet, which buys me time to get weapons and make myself even more difficult to kill. If I miss, I just need to keep looking for him. If I die, it's okay. If I get a kill, it's a miracle. I don't. He hits a really nice shot to get the kill. So now he's going to be able to get the mega. I can't stop it, but what I might be able to stop is him picking up the armor after. So he doesn't. He realizes the danger. So now I'm just trying to get position on the heavy. I hear him pick up the armor from that position, which is why I waited there. I waited to see if he would come back and collect it, or if he's likely going to move over to rail. That gives me the information. Okay, since he's over there and heavy comes up when it does, around 58, I know that the likely path that he's going to take is through the portal and come to high ground. He has all the guns he needs to fight for it too. The one way for me to stop him right now, since there's no, and he would have to make himself very vulnerable to jump to here or to here during the fight, is right before he's going to show up, I'm going to blanket spit all over the shotgun area.
But thankfully, was able to soak up that shot. Rapha
So just doing that right there pretty much secures me the game because it's way too dangerous for him to fight there while taking acid damage if he approaches any further. And it just secures me an easy heavy now. He gets spit on, he realizes it's a really bad fight, he just has to leave. So he does. I try to catch him looking for exit damage from me leaving the heavy. I'm doing my best to see if I can secure the mega. I do. I haven't heard him move in. He wouldn't have been able to walk there with no sound from where I last heard him fast enough. So that's why I knew it was safe to drop in that manner and to take control back. So I don't have spit now and he has peeker, so I can't just push too aggressively. I have to try to find him first. So I'm like, okay, now I have to play tentatively. I guessed correctly when he's going to come through, hit a really nice rocket. I have spit back, so I blanket it again. He knows he can't peek now. It's too dangerous to peek at too many areas, so he just has to give up the area again. He hasn't dealt enough damage as I enter the room the first time to be able to justify sticking around. So he has to leave again. So I RJ, I'm taking position here. It's going to be a difficult fight for him to peek here. I know the exact timing on Mega. I know he wants to fight for this. And so what I'm going to do actually during this fight is take the jump pad, because then it makes it even more vulnerable for him to try to drop down. Because I have a better angle to not only hit him with LG, but to push him away from the Mega. That's why I start taking it. This denies both angles of attack from him. I'm ready for it. So he has to fight here, though, because he's down 4, and he has 1:20 left. I start dealing some damage, and then as soon as he does this, I feel like the position that I can't take this side anymore, especially since he's gonna see me. I feel like it's best to just start backing off. And so what I've learned from other players doing this actually is, in this situation, it comes into play where I switch to rocket and I don't aim where he's going to appear, like right at the window here. I'm going to appear where he's going to go if he keeps trying to fall off from Mega.
Cypher.
And I hit just an amazing spam rocket. I was going to back off and leave the area anyway. But since I hit that, I have an opportunity to try to hit a rail and just close out the game. And I hit the perfect combo kill. And that's it. The game's over. There's not enough time. There's nothing he can do. And we just kind of play it out. So the biggest thing that kind of won the game earlier was dealing enough damage when the game was like 7-3. And I got that opportunity at heavy to lay the spit down at shotgun, where I knew that he would show up from. Like just the context clue of when he took the light armor and what his best options were. I needed to deny it and spit. I had to utilize it in the best way there. If I tried to hold on to it and gave him more space and like tried to like deal damage like mid-fight for the heavy, it could have turned out messy. And if I take a bad rocket bounce, he could have got a clean kill then. He could have got the heavy. But you got to know when to save the spit for the fight and when to use it beforehand to potentially zone your opponent out. And there, it was the perfect time to do that, and it made it so that at that point he really needed to all in or nothing because of the time, and he chose to back off, and I was able to secure the victory with control. And thankfully in this game, I was hitting really hard. The game felt really smooth. It felt really good. It also felt like it felt smooth for him too, just because of the amount of damage that I was taking in some fights as well. Like the rails he was hitting, the amount of LG that he was hitting me with in certain fights. I just got maximum value out of spit at key times over and over again, and it really allowed me to contest control off of respawns and just to maximize the full control that I had. So let me find the next game. So we can look at the stats here actually at the end of this map. We can look at that. So yeah, if we look at this, like, even though I was hitting really well, he outdamaged me. He did almost 500 more damage than I did. Like, pretty much did 400 more, which is pretty crazy. And for me, I had good control across the board. I had pretty even pickups, which if you're getting about the same amount of lights as you are heavy and mega, you're gonna have a good time. Typically, it's gonna be a good day for you. And thankfully, in this matchup, that's what I needed. I needed to keep taking the lights to overstack the armor, to overwhelm him, and it worked out. As we can see here, he dealt almost 2,000 LG damage. He was hitting really hard, 47%. We hit about the same with Rail. The difference maker was the rockets. I dealt like 200 more damage, which really helped in a few key fights. I hit really crucial rockets, and then the spit difference. And it allowed me to be able to control the map better than he did, and allowed me to take the victory. So then let's go to Deep Embrace. So like I said, I really like Ranger on this map when Doom isn't available. I think there's, to be honest, on Deep Embrace, there's so many good picks on this map. I think that Doom, Ranger, Athena, Keel, Eisen, Sorlag, even Scale can be good on this map. Death Knight now. Depending on the matchup, Anarchy is very good on this map. Nyx is a bit of a risk, but if you play her right, she can be very good. There's a lot of good picks on this map, but I just think like the way that I play Ranger really allows me to impose my will here with the way that I rocket jump around and I'm focusing on control and whatnot. I wish they could add an ability damage stat. That would be pretty good. Like ability damage or like ability healed from, depending on like your champion. You know, damage reduced from it, blah blah blah, for like, you know, clutch or scale bearer. Those things would be pretty cool if they could. If they can't, they can't. Like, they already have a good amount of stats in the game anyway. So let's go ahead and get into this one.
On game point. But we are officially...
So now we're playing on the EU server, and seriously, to be honest, regardless of whether I have like 115 or like 35 ping, I try to approach the game as if it's LAN anyway. So I just approach it and keep trying to make good decisions based off of what I would do on LAN. And then as the game goes on and I'm like kind of feeling like how my connection is feeling at the time, I might take a few more fights with LG or a few more rocket fights, or try to actually play with Rail just a little bit more, depending on what feels good on the day. And like I said, during this grand finals, the games felt great.
Live, as you can hear the countdown going through.
I had no packet loss. There was no like crazy funky situations for me, like behind corners on anything. And it was a very, very, yeah. And we were able to both play to our potential. So from here, I'm taking the approach to, let's back it up. I'm taking the approach to take LG. I don't go for the armor right away. I'm trying to get my weaponry, and I have LG and rockets right. I mean, LG and super shotgun is really good along with the orb at the start. Especially, I was trying to see if he would like try to, you know, take a bad route towards heavy, because like right now, when I hear the armor, if he starts going towards the middle, I can just orb up, and that gives me the mega and heavy right away. But he took a really good decision to path through rocket to this armor, and then he's going to go above. And here, that rocket is just perfect. I honestly have no options at the moment. I can't really move underneath him. I can't do anything. I just need to try to out-dodge him, because right now using the orb would be a waste. It's like a waste to try to deal damage, because he'll just rocket flame strike my ass, and then he'll collect the heavy, and then I'll be out of full control immediately. So I need to just try to get away. He hits really great prediction rockets, and I'm just like, well, that's a really fucking shitty start, but props to him, because, you know, he hit what he needed to hit there. And so he gets a really good clean kill. But the important thing there was to not panic and use my orb. I needed to make sure that I had it off the respawn so that he can't just completely bully me. So I'm like, all right, I just accept my fate, collect LG, collect this armor now. And I know the item timing, though. I know the cycle of all the armors when the mega comes up. That mega is going to be first. So right here, I'm probably going to have to allow him to collect mega so that I can get a rail. so that we could be even on weaponry.
Start.
So he starts trying to get an LG. He's like clearing where I might be hiding because he's healthy enough. He's looking for damage. So now I'm here. I thought he would be coming from LG to the armor. He's not. I see that he's there, and I have orb. I have orb and options. I could, since he's going to drop here, I could orb up to get past him, which would then allow me to take that armor and then rocket boost over to the heavy and collect everything. If he makes a wrong move here, I could take the mega first and possibly turn around the fight. So after this initial rocket, I'm kind of stuck and need to see what I can do. So I hit him with a good rail to start this, and he hasn't flame striked yet. So I still have the orb ready. He didn't continue to jump. So as soon as he didn't continue to jump, I instantly orb towards the mega because I know I can make it there before he can. If he kept jumping at full speed and he didn't stop, even after taking the rail damage, he could have made it there first. This is just something that, like, as you're playing at the highest level, you need to instantly make certain reactions. This is just combat awareness and combat skill. So he went to try to all-in nuke me, which was a good try. Based off my position, but I orb past it, collect the mega. Now I RJ up, and I don't think he heard it because of this rocket splash here. So because of that rocket, he for some reason, like, and jumping and collecting the shotgun, he doesn't hear me RJ up. So he has no idea that I'm here. He thinks I'm going to come through lower to try to cut off this and the heavy. And so I end up getting a free kill because he misjudges the sound. So that's really good for me. I collect more to get my Dire Orb back so that I get it before his next Flame Strike. I get the heavy, and so now I'm looking to potentially get another kill here. I misjudge where he's going to go. There's no problem. It's okay. So now I need to look to deal damage and trade damage before this next armor so that I can take it. Looking to cut him off. I don't cut him off correctly. That's okay. I take the armor, and I get the orb. And so here I know I've collected all the vials. There's like almost no vials on this map. There's only 4. That's it. There's only 4 vials on this map. So I've collected them all, and we both used our ability at the same time. I have a small window of opportunity where if I find the right situation, I can be super aggressive, and there's going to be no penalty for it. So here he's taking position. He only has rocket and rail. He doesn't have LG to pin me up this jump pad. Like, all right, I can go up here with shotgun in his face and potentially orb him. Which is what I do. Shotgun, orb, shotgun. So now I don't go for the rocket ammo right away. I know I need to get mega and I need to RJ back up to try to work my way back to heavy because heavy's coming up very shortly. But I do that. He's trying to push this armor, which is okay. I was potentially ready for this fight anyway. We start fighting, and right here, this is a bad weapon decision for me. After I dealt that damage, I needed to switch to shotgun. Not switching to shotgun allows him the chance to potentially get away with this armor in this fight. I don't flick over enough to hit the wall to kill him, whereas if I switched to shotgun, I would have killed him before he collects that, which would have allowed me to get, again, to 150 armor. Whereas now, I'm not able to be as stacked as I could be because of that weapon choice, and now I'm just at okay control. And a rail from him could be the difference. So I think that based off my tri-bolt spam that I've covered myself, I haven't. He's done a good job waiting for this angle to open up. He hits a nice rail. So now control is in flux, and he's doing a really good job here of trying to be aggressive after that because he knows now. I used the orb recently. I don't have it yet. He has Flame Strike, so he's looking to push and to be aggressive in this close quarters combat area. I know he's trying to fight for this. I'm trying to keep my distance since he doesn't have LG, and just honestly, his execution and decision on where to place the Flame Strike was perfect. He had to hit the rail to Flame Strike combo. If he didn't hit the rail, the Flame Strike probably just would have pushed me like either into the portal or we just would have fought all out for that, and then who knows what happens. But he went for the all-in there, and he executed it to perfection. So now he gets the armor, he gets the kill, and he's going to secure himself the mega. So he gets this. I'm trying to secure guns for myself. I figured he might be taking a lower path rather than up here, since I'm likely going to have orb, and he doesn't have Flame Strike, but he doesn't respect the position. He decides to go for everything. So now I'm just trying to, deal as much damage as I can. I rail him. I fake the orb, and it doesn't pay off here. I'm trying to use the orb to distract him, which it did work, and then I missed up with the follow-up damage, and it ends up giving him a free kill. I fail miserably here. Oh, really good job, nice aim. And as you notice here, this is a good thing to point out. Not every time when you're fighting do you need to be spamming left and right all the time. Sometimes you just need to hold good position and aim and just kind of predict when you think they're going to shoot. And sometimes the best dodging is no dodging at all. He doesn't really move, and then he dodges at the last second. It's good to mix up what you're doing in your fights. And that actually made him more difficult to hit there than if somebody is just constantly trying to dodge. They're an LG main. Catches a good rail off the spawn, so this gets him even more control. I need to try to fight for this here. And this is just all about dealing max damage so that hopefully between the next Mega and the next Heavy, I can get some control back. I'm going to sacrifice the tie to get control. And this actually works out because he's out of LG ammo. And we end up trading. So he gets the Mega, I collect the guns at the bottom, and now I'm going to try to work my way towards all the armor. All that's doing there is just trying to stall him. Just a little bit of pushback to be like, alright, let me get all of this shit. So now I need to be aware of him flame striking on the armor, which I am, which is why I'm positioned to the side instead of trying to just take the armor right away. I know he wants to contest for this. So that's why I take my time and I'm patient with it. So now I have a lot of control. I finally work myself towards a rail. Now I need to try to work my way back to this armor and punish him. I have the orb, he doesn't have the flame strike. Now's the time to try to move in and be aggressive, so that's what I'm doing. Getting a lot of good damage. I chase after him with the orb to secure the kill, then I go back to get this. So now I'm taking a bit of a slower route in case he cuts me off. I see him there, so now I know I can't likely get both of those items with the pathing that I took. So I need to try to do my best just to make sure that I get heavy and he doesn't.
You know, it is.
Unfortunately, it's so random. There's like such a small chance that sometimes it happens where like you're trying to just RJ up there and you shoot through like the smallest crack possible with the rocket and it just totally flubs up.
I get the sense that Rapha,
but it's not a big deal. I managed to get it. I still have a big stack.
So, you know, if he has control of those upper
and I need to
levels,
try to catch him out
why not
before
go
this
down
armor.
and take it to
I
Cypher?
can't take an all-in on the armor because right now he's around. I need to think about it this way. I know that I had to trade and just get the heavy while he gets the light, so he's 100-100. If he takes the right positioning down here, technically he could be 150-150, so we could be even if I don't get a good entry into the fight or he, you know, is positioned correctly, because there's the two bubbles down there and the armor, and I don't have the orb yet, so I can't be as aggressive as I want to be yet. So I just need to maintain high ground for now. So he decides to come through here, which is a big mistake. I catch him with a lot of damage. And then even though I'm on fire, it's okay, but I kind of panic here. So sometimes like when you're fighting and it's this chaotic, it's a little bit difficult to, especially when you're trying to keep track of like the items and the clock, like while you're fighting, it's a bit hectic when the dot damage is on you to keep track of your health. So as we're fighting here, and I think he's going to take the health anyway, I start panicking and think I need to go through the portal, or if he hits me, I'm going to die. Where in reality, I wouldn't die right away, and I just need to see this fight out. And because I don't, and I go to a position where there's no health, I try to shoot where it's going to be predictable to move, which is where he does, but I just manage to mistime it, and he ends up getting away with a kill here. Whereas if I just tried to see it out with LG, I could have taken full control of this map really early on and ran away with the game, because what I would get out of winning this fight if I decided to keep like fighting here, I would get this light armor, I would get the health, I would then go get the mega, so I would be at like 175, almost 100, and I would have the orb again because I would be collecting the vials that are coming up by the health. So I would be super stacked on my way to being even more stacked. Like it would be such a risk for him to hold on to the heavy position being 5-3 with no item and just railgun or just rocket. I could have potentially blown the game wide open here if I just stuck this out. But this mistake and hesitation here leads to him killing me, and for him to get in control. Because now he's going to be looking pretty good. Even if he doesn't get the heavy, he's got guns. He can potentially damage me. And so, fortunately, I actually get a good spawn to where, since I know that the heavy and the light armor are up at the same time, I could kind of spam him out and try to delay him so that he doesn't get the heavy. If he decided to go around to the other side, I could give up the position to then come get the light and go get LG for free without taking damage, but he decides he wants to contest from this angle. He takes a lot of nail damage. I catch him with a free rail because for some reason he didn't expect me to look for more damage. He expected me to just go straight for the heavy. So kind of like how he's caught me with damage before like that, I did the same exact thing to him. So now I'm looking to, I know I've dealt a shit ton of damage. I have machine gun, nail gun, and rail gun. So I do a nice drive-by rail on my way to safely take position at the pillar to then see what my options are. I just switched to machine gun. He deals a shit ton of damage there. Like, the fact that he was able to deal the rail and not just die with his health is pretty crazy. But I know it's okay. My best thing now is, since I know he's screaming, the armor isn't up where he is, I need to get this rocket and go deny the bubbles down here. So I move in quickly, I move in to catch him, and I just keep machine gun out because I know he's super, super weak. It's better for me to try to, like, take a machine gun fight against his railgun than it is to try to rail against rail here. There's more likely of a scenario where I hit machine gun and kill him and take no damage compared to like missing a rail and he rails me back type thing. So there, I get a good clean kill. I get the rail, and I tried to force him at the rocket, but I wasn't far enough by the tri-bolt to do so. So the only reason that I know that, okay, he might not have spawned there, he might have spawned at LG, I'm going to keep moving in, is because I have the orb. And I want to contest for this. I do a lot of damage. And it's actually a really risky thing that he's doing right now, because I have rail and he's going to take a predictable angle. But I miss. I just miss, and his flame strike comes back at the perfect time, and he manages to get a nice frag back. So all of the good work that I did to get that kill, I fucked up again there with just whiffing an easy rail, and he pulled off a really nice flame strike. Again, this is the second time in the game now he's hit really good damage with like converging them, and so it gets him the frag and some control back. So he gets this, and what I would like to see from him here is, instead of like playing for this armor again, because this is just deja vu of the last encounter, I would have liked to see him just leave this up and rush towards the bridge. Rush towards the bridge, try to fight for the heavy, see if he can kill me and take it, but instead he decides to try to fight for this again. So he takes some damage, and so here I just have to try to dodge and deal as much damage as possible. There's 2 rails and I'm going to die, but it's too much to like me giving up position here to go for rail while he then collects heavy for free, and then I can't fight for anything. Is just no point. It's better for me to try to dodge shit here and fight him as he's really predictable, because he can only jump on this ledge here that he's going to, and then try to make it over. So he decides to switch to LG to try to kill me, which is not necessarily a bad move, but I hit 100% nail gun here as he moves in. He just moves in predictably at the wrong time for the ground that I'm holding, and I just light him up. So I collect the heavy and another kill, and I'm like, okay. As he's pushed into this position, he's doing what he should because he has the LG advantage over me, and I'm like, I just need to get the fuck out. So since I'm Ranger, I'm going to try to RJ boost to get away. I catch him with a nice rail, which allows me to drop down here to get the health, and I hit him with another good one. Now I'm just trying to spam and just punish him for picking up the rail. And for some reason, I didn't expect him to keep pushing forward towards the rocket here. I should have been a little bit more ready for it. I thought he would probably like back off and try to gain position and deny the next like armor and play for the heavy, but he doesn't. He's playing more aggressive, and from that range, I can't hear the footsteps. This is a nice entry rail from him. I don't follow up with any damage, which that ends up leading to me losing control here. If I hit that rail as he's going to go up the jump pad, I could potentially work my way over towards the heavy, because it actually would slow him down to where he can't get position enough. Here, really nice rail from him as I tried to leave. He's using his whole arsenal to try to stop me, which I get the gamble that he's taking, especially once he hit the rail. It's really good for him to do. the value of him trying to make this work is so much. And so here, as he's moving predictably and I hit the rail, I'm like, oh, I can actually maybe turn this around. So I try to go for the orb play because I know he's not too stacked. So I hit 90, but then here I just miss him to the side. And so instead of getting like 100 damage, I only deal like 50. And so I don't kill him. And he hits a really clutch rail to win that. I like the decision there to RJ to get there more quickly to make sure that he gets it in case I rush through. It's a really good job from him. And this is just super sick rockets. Like, if he judges incorrectly and I deal really good LG damage, that could gain control back for me. So that's kind of why I was doing it there, because I knew he was weak collecting the heavy. Those are just awesome prediction rockets. He gets another clean frag, and now the score is tied again. I know that he's likely going to contest that armor, so off the spawn there, I take an unpredictable route so that I deny rail angles, and I'm just trying to avoid him for now. Avoid him, see if I can stall him out for this heavy. And I RJ over a little too late. I'm trying to be too greedy here. If I had the orb, I could do it. But since I took the armor and RJ'd over instead of like grabbing the vials on my way over, because I was trying to deny him to rail me, he got to the position too quickly anyway. So he hits the rail. He's following up. Since I don't have the orb, this is a good move to make. And probably because the vials were still there, he knew that he could do this. So he moves in with Flame Strike and Rockets and just perfectly lays down the combo. Really good job from him. Now he's moving to get the Flame Strike back. He catches me out with a bad route off the spawn. And so he's doing what he should do. He should try to kill me before this next armor comes up. Really nice LG. Super sick. Now he's looking in good steads here. He's looking to catch me be predictable going to rail. I'm not falling for it. I don't want to give away too much free shit. And then here, he hits me with another good rail as I try to exit from taking that armor. And in this situation, I know like he outguns me, but I can't let, after that rail, I can't let him get the heavy for free because there's not much for me to fight for a while, and I can't really deal too much damage back. It's really important for me to deny him the armor here. So I deal okay damage, but not a lot. And here as I'm like getting pushed off by LG, the most important thing is to deny heavy. So I use the orb to just collect the item and die. So that's a win right there, because now I'm likely going to spawn at either shotgun or LG, and I'm going to be slightly outstacking him. And I'm going to try to fight. So he moves over. I take position. I fake it because I think he's a little weaker than he is. And I have a machine gun and shotgun, so I'm looking to fight here. I'm trying to peek around and move into shotgun range, and he just 100% LGs me there. Oh, and he just... Don't you just hate it? When you know you're holding the right angle and then you watch the recording back, and then you just move away at the wrong time. You just stop holding the angle that you knew the player would show up at. So unfortunately for him, he doesn't reach and get enough damage. And so here I knew the timing of Mega from last time because of when I heard the jump pad. I figured, okay, when I heard the jump pad, just subtract like 1.5 to 2 seconds, and that's when Mega is, because like it takes the time for him to go to Mega, to go to the jump pad, and then he railed me there. So I have time, and I need to try to make a few things happen now. I need to try to stall him before the armor, see if I could deal some damage, maybe even trap him here and get a kill. So I'm going to come over here and try to see if I can rail him. I don't rail him on the exit again. I get railed again, but it's okay. I catch him with an important one here. And I can go secure heavy for free. So there I bait out rockets to like guess his position. And I'm just trying to work my way into his area now. And as soon as I hit this rail, it's go time. I have the orb. I know he doesn't have any armor left after I dealt some damage because I took this armor and then I took the heavy. So now it's time to go in. And I heard the scream. I hit the orb splash and follow up with rockets. And I'm going to move in and try to get full control of the map. So I hear him up here. So I'm just trying to spam and see, like, just get lucky with some spam on where he's going to peek. Switch to rail. I hit a good one. And here, I'm like moving through and I'm like, okay, I'm going to switch to LG because I can't kill him in a rail and I don't have orb. But I should, most of the time, I should be able to pin him in the air.
And 30 seconds left to go.
But I just, like, the rail that he hits, the timing of it, it, like, knocks me back and fucks my crosshair up just enough that I don't pin him in the air for a free kill. Which gets him the, position to move into this heavy.
The aggressive.
I have to kind of fight for this now. And so here I'm like, holy fuck, I missed, in my mind I'm like, shit, I missed another rail. I was like, an easy follow-up rail where he's just dancing on the heavy. It was like, I have to try to deal max damage now. All of this stuff has gone wrong. I need to try to deal it. Really nice double back. Perfect timing to catch me. That's just super sick what he did. So now, again, I know the timing on the mega health. I'm going to move up to high ground with rail now and see what I can do. Because I have to, again, I'm down 4 with about 3 minutes left. This is a good opportunity for me to see if I can bring the shit back. So I hit 1 rail and returned. I'm making myself as unpredictable as possible. So as soon as I hit 2, now I'm like, okay, I might be able to kill him here. So I'm staying around. Even if I take a rail, it's okay. I'll take the armor after. And I just perfectly predict when he'll dodge back around the portal. And I know is if I do get the kill there, I can force the spawn at Rocket, which is why you see me take the path that I'm taking. I do catch him, and I hit another 2 rails. So I went like 5 for 6 in the span of 10 seconds. I pulled a Cypher myself, and I start bringing back the lead, get some control. I know that I can't be too over-aggressive at mid-range here because I don't have LG yet. I can't fight LG to LG. So I catch him trying to bait me out. I do some good damage, along with what he did. He dealt like a lot with the combo with the flame strike. So I walk back over to secure the health, and now I just need to kind of make this work for me because I have rail and he shouldn't. So he leaves, and now here I'm thinking he's gonna expect me to go for mega again, and I know again like before, he doesn't have flame strike, and I have shotgun and orb again. So I create doubt in his mind. Because he might think I'm too weak and I've given up mega position, so I wait, and then I go up. Boom, and I catch him. Regardless of whether I kill him or not, what I'm doing is I'm just instantly pressing fire and then pressing the ability the millisecond after. I'm doing it in case the shotgun didn't deal enough damage. It's better to do that to make sure that you get the frag, rather than like gambling and then it all goes to shit. So there, I ended up wasting the orb, but I would do that 10 out of 10 times, just in case. So I managed to get the kill, I secure the armor, the mega, and now I just have to concede the heavy. Like, I can't take it, but I can try to deal some damage, which I do. And I know that since he has rockets on it, as I'm going there, that lets me know and taking that fight what weaponry he has. Since he has rocket and he got there when he did, he doesn't have railgun yet. So now it's time for me to try to deny it and stall it out. And so I figure, okay, here the portal, he's escaping. So what I'm going to do is, if he decides to go through the portal and double back, I'm going to at least buy myself 5 seconds here that he can't get a rail. So I go take the rail, work my way back to this armor, where it would be really risky for him to move with just rockets anyway. And I'm looking to get the orb back before the next set of items. So I'm okay with him getting LG. I'm trying to like deny rail. Okay, he collects the armor. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, it's better to just back off and collect the heavy because he can't... I at least still have the rail advantage, even though I'm down 1. So we'll be about equal on stacks, but I can potentially find a weapon advantage to get myself back into the game. Oh, I'm looking for him to try to like get out of LG. I guess incorrectly. I hear him below, so I'm trying to see if he'll like come through the portal to try to get high ground. I hear him and I misjudge which direction he goes. So he's gonna get himself a rail here. So I'm like, okay, we're even now. I need to just try to do what he's gonna do. Look for damage first. And so since I know the mega and the heavy time, I'm like, okay. Based off his positioning, it seems like he's really wanting to play for heavy. So if I move into that area to try to make something happen, I have to try to bait out like rockets and flame strike. So as I'm going across, I'm like ready for this fight. Like, okay, which is why I'm continuing my movement instead of like coming through here and going into here, which makes me more predictable to hit. And I'm saving my orb for after the flame strike. He does it, and it saves my ass. If I didn't save the orb, it might have like activated too quickly, and I don't take it, and then I fly off the map. But I've dealt a direct rocket here. We've both done damage to each other. I hit him with more damage. I just have to accept the fact that I'm going to be on fire. And so then I just start working my way towards the other items. He tries to work his way back to go for the heavy, which is fine. I take the mega while he can't damage me. And he's taking a big risk here. I think he feels like if I get the armor uncontested, that I'm going to get full control and he's not going to be able to hold on to his lead. So he's trying to be unpredictable here, catch me as I'm traversing from the mega, and take a fight. But I just hit some crazy rockets in this fight. I just took my time to like think about where I should hit the first one, and then I just followed up with a perfect second rocket. Like what he was doing isn't necessarily bad. It's a bit risky, but he got unlucky there. Like he took some really bad rockets that knocked him out of position. He can't really contest for this item. I managed to get it. I work on getting my orb back again, trying to secure myself for the heavy, and I know he's going to do one of two things. He's going to try to beat me to the heavy first and see if he can spam me out at the choke and make it difficult to fight there, or he's going to like play the center and try to go for the armor at the top. So as I'm going through here, I know that the first thing I need to clear is him getting to heavy right away. So I take rail out, and I just happen to catch him. Just knowing that might, like, if he gets there and he gets there before me, it's going to be rough. And that's what he's like trying to bank on now, since control is kind of in flux. And I managed to catch him with a really sick kill, and I tie the game up. So now I know, okay, I'm going to have the potential control to end this game. I just need to make sure that I get heavy, and then work my way towards Mega and try to damage him after. And so here, I know that it's a little too risky in this area to kind of all in with the orb, because if I get bounced by a bad rocket, or if he gets flame strike back, since it's had added bounce to it, I could get bounced into this pit, or I could get bounced out of the map. The only way I'm going to take the orb here is if he literally walks directly on top of it. Then I will take it to get the full damage. But otherwise, I can use it to keep him from the mega and make dodging more predictable. So I deal good damage. He doesn't want to stay on the mega because he knows as the fight starts, that would be too predictable, and I just bite the shit out of him. So I get what he's doing. He's trying to like create doubt, buy some more space before he gets the mega. So now I hit a sick rail, and that orb, all that does is make it so he can't just stand and fight firm with LG. And so he predictably dodges back to the right, which allows me to hit another rail. And so now I know, okay, I can take the lead. So I'm going to commit to this no matter what. He's super weak. He actually ends up dealing a shit ton of damage. Like, let's see how much damage he deals here.
Ready to save his own skin.
So I'm what? 86, 115? What am I after?
Fantastic rail. Oh, the bait.
He does a lot, dude. He does like almost the full 75 with the flame strike. And then he even hits me with more LG. So I took a lot more damage than anticipated. I figured I would still be close to 100, like I could collect the health below, etc. after. But the important thing is I got the kill, and I'm taking position to get this armor. So now in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm not healthy enough to force the game to be over. I just kind of have to like play to run the clock out. It's just the situation in the game. Run the clock out and take position at the end so that if he can close the gap, that I damage him as much as possible, so that even if he ties it, he's super weak going into overtime. So I'm seeing if I can maybe play for the heavy. I know the timing. I hear him. I hear he's going to come through. I don't have the LG to kind of fight it out, so I don't want to risk it. I just want to keep running and waste time. If he chases me, he leaves the heavy up, because I know when it comes up. I'm the one that collected it last. So I know that if he chases me in this area, heavy is still up, which he is. So I'm trying to guess where he's going. As soon as I hit that rocket, I'm like, okay, he had to leave heavy up to chase me. I'm going to try to RG over there. He hits a sick rail as I'm about to just leave, and this creates an opportunity where he might be able to come back. But I know, okay, my orb's coming up. I'm going to be at 150. If I just orb after towards the health, regardless of whether I take a rail, I should be able to collect the health and not be railable again. Boom, he does. He hits it. So now I do the right thing to get to the second level since he can't follow me. He doesn't have the same type of mobility. And now I've pretty much won the game just by doing that because now I'm 94 health and he has to like hit something and then a rail, which he's just going to keep trying to rail me. So I just deny him the angle, and that's it. So just a little unlucky for him that he couldn't follow up with more damage. But it was really key for me to save the orb there and to use it to get to the mid-level.
And unbelievable that we are here, but he is in max.
All right, I'll be right back. I need to get a little bit of a snack before the next map. Need to eat a little something.
RPH Ghost.
So I'll be back in a few minutes, everybody.
Rapha VOD review.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, guys and gals. I'm ready again. Let's see here. Let's take a look at the stats again. And again, he outdamaged me. I don't know why it's showing Nina, but let's see here. But thankfully, I had more heavies than he did, and it kind of depends from map to map and like champion matchups what like major items you want to favor. But heavy is just, it's such a defendable position for the most part compared to Mega, where it's much harder to work your way out of Mega health cleanly. It just is. It's a lot riskier and messier, as well as the railgun is on the heavy side of the map. So, you know, if you're able to control that during the game, it means a lot. As we look here, like I LG'd pretty good, but man, he had a couple really nice LG fights again, and you hit really hard. We hit about the same on rockets. We were both doing good damage, but I dealt more shotgun damage, and I actually railed really well that game. And that's what the big difference was. Like, I got a couple really good shotgun kills there, like from the pad with orb and shotgun that led to some good control and coming back. But I mean, the big key to that game and me coming back was that situation where I was down. What was it, 11? I think it was 11-7 or like 12-8, and I railed him. Like, I hit him with like a 3 for 4 at the Mega and killed him. And then I got a free kill off the rocket spawn by going 2 for 2 again. When you're hitting rails, it can get done.
Corrupted Keep.
Better than my usual 35%.
The game of momentum, and both of these players known for it.
35 to 40.
Can look so insanely good.
Alright, and then let's go to Corrupted. And so then he picked Corrupted Keep, which he's pretty darn good on. But he decided, like I said, in the draft phase, he decided to take BJ from me since he had the first pick on this map. And I decided to pick Ison into it. And so going into this game, how we're going to have to break down the start is you have to look at it from his mentality and like the decision he makes and what he does. So I decide off the start that I'm not even going to go for Mega right away. I'm going to go for the heavy. And what he does is he just kind of chills out in the middle of the map to try to figure out what's going on. And he's trying to create... Oh, stupid. There we go. He's trying to create a split between the heavy and Mega right away. Because he's been playing... Even though he's been playing really well, I've been playing almost picture-perfect QUAKE the last 2 maps. And even though he just came up short on the last one, his kind of thought process was, well, he wanted, in this case, to try to see if he could have a game where he gets a snowball going right away, and if I can deal with that kind of pressure, especially since it's BJ, and like BJ can take full control so far in some games if you play it right. So as we see here, I start at the nail, and I decide to go this path because I know he spawned at Rocket. He's probably going to rush towards Mega anyway. So I go this way, I get full armor, I get a shotgun for myself, and then as I cross the center here, he decided to drop, and now I know there's a big gap between heavy and Mega. So here I just need to deal damage because I know he doesn't have LG. I just need to try to deal damage with nails and machine gun as he backs off to it, and work my way towards Rocket. Just what I do. I don't place my turret yet because it's not going to be effective in that fight. It's just not going to happen. I couldn't get to him in time to like place it behind him and trap him. By the time that I place it there, he's just going to destroy it anyway. So I want to save it for a future encounter. So right now I know I can get a free rocket launcher. What I want to do is like work my way over towards the nail side of the map and just try to deal chip damage and just be annoying and try to stall him out till the next set of items. And so as I was at the rocket, I also checked to make sure if he picked up the armor or not. If he didn't pick up the armor, I would have went and collected it. But I know that that's not up, so I know he's like at about 175, you know, and like 20 or 50. He's still doing okay. So I take center position. I don't hit any, and I'm like, okay, I can't take any damage. I can't stick around for that. I need to preserve my armor stack to make myself as difficult to fight as possible. And so here I'm just trying to catch him with some good spam. As I'm like trying to delay him from the next armor. So, because I know that this comes first and then the heavy shortly after. So I'm trying to just stall him and create options.
Amazing on his end.
He hits me with good damage here. So I can't keep holding position or he could push me and potentially kill me out in the open. So now I take defensive position. And most people, as they're backing off to here, would shoot a rocket immediately. But I stall for a second. Because I think he's trying to decide whether to push or not, and so I'm just guessing that he'll show up a little late. Boom, I hit a really nice rocket. I'm like, okay. I dealt about as much damage there as he did to me, so I need to try to work my way out of here, and I think the best thing to do is to like try to actually like push him, since I have the turret and I can lay it down to like put like a barrier between us. So I see what he's doing. And here, I catch him to see if I did enough damage and he's trying to go for health or something. Or I'd like try to take tricky position and catch me up here. So I cover that. And what ends up happening is the rocket splash ends up like covering my jump sound at the same time. And so he doesn't hear me. He doesn't hear that I'm coming in. And so by the time that I find him, I figured like, if he's still in the area, because I could hear the LG hum, he's like now working his way to the health, or he's like up here. So it's best to just fire the rocket at the ledge. They're more likely to get splashed there. And it works out even better than I imagined. And so now he's tried to create such a big gap between heavy and mega so he can get full control, and it knocks him, and this rocket knocks him into the lava. And so now I know, okay, well, I don't even need to worry about getting an LG now or whatever. I'll just take the fact that I'm up one and try to get all armor again. So I know he might spawn at rocket, so I try to get some free damage. I collect the armor, go over to the heavy, and I know I've got time for the mega. I know when it comes up. And this is why I've been saving Lil Timmy. I'm finally going to get a chance to use it. And so I'm going to move into the area here, and I know that he's going to be trying to position near the mega so he can make sure that he collects it. So I'm just going to try to deal damage from above with rockets and or shotgun. And I'm going to place the turret down there. So I shoot and then place the turret at the same time. So I'm like shooting and then immediately pressing. It's almost instantaneous. Like shooting and then pressing the ability bind at the same time. So I catch him trying to position onto the mega, because what he wanted to do is he thought he was going to... here, we'll back that up. So as he hears me coming, in his mind what he's going to try to do, since I don't have LG, is he's going to try to jump onto the mega ledge first, and if he does get that position, he might be able to catch me with enough LG and push me back that I can't spam him safely. But he gets there too late. I'm moving in so fast, and I catch him before he can make that jump, and that rocket is just so devastating. And I'm like, oh shit. Since that rocket dealt so much damage, I was like, I might be able to kill him and take all of this now. Especially after that. So now I'm like, okay, he's going to have to move into position. It's best to switch to shotgun and all in here. Because he can't focus on the turret. He has to shoot me. And if he shoots me, then whatever. The turret has had enough time. It's going to activate and help me in the fight. So I need to use this situation to try to let the help me. And it works out to perfection. And right here when I killed him cleanly, I was like, holy shit. I was like, I did not expect to have full control in under a minute within the game. But the gamble that he took to like create such a spread between the items means that he has to have the second cycle of them work out perfectly. And since he died so terribly at the lava pit, this is just a nightmare. This is a nightmare scenario. He's down 2 maps to nothing. I just need to win 1 more. And now all the pressure is on him. I have full control. I'm going to get all the guns. And so now my objective is to just keep finding him. Keep finding him. Keep putting pressure. So now I'm taking space to get him to get out of here.
Dominance here in the first minute
I know
of
that
the
that
game.
armor's coming up, so I'm looking to clear it. And since he's not here now, and I hear him at LG, it's time to push. Time to try to deal more damage. Keep the pressure on. Now that I have dealt that much, I know that he's probably pushed off the ledge. And he's going to have a tricky escape because guess what? The turret is down underneath.
Timers as well.
So I hear this jump pad and I catch him for a free kill. And I know, like, okay, now I need to collect the armor. Like, as soon as I was going in this area, it's like, if I get the kill, I need to get the armor and start working my way towards shotgun.
The heavy is about to spawn.
Because I could maybe make him spawn at nail, but he actually spawns at shotgun instead. So now I'm just covering myself from him getting shotgun. Because if he gets to shotgun and he has dual wield, I could lose everything here. So he actually doesn't have a bad scenario here. This is pretty good. But he only has machine gun. So I'm just working my way past. I have the turret still to help me, so I don't need to make another one yet. It prevents him from pushing the mega.
Yeah.
That lets me know where his position is. I'm just looking to cut him off and to deal tip damage. So here I figure he's probably worked his way back. He's trying to get high ground again. I get a nice spam rocket, which knocks him down again. Does a little bit. I place that there thinking that he'll go towards the hallway and he'll work his way, but he actually smartly cleared the area, took out the turret. And so now I'm just trying to catch him before the mega. Where is he going? I don't manage to. I back off to make sure that he doesn't rush through with dual wield shotgun. I have to respect it since I don't have a turret anymore and just collect the item. But I still have heavy machine gun and he doesn't, so I need to keep that range. Okay, I see that he's there. Just need to try to deal a little bit. I've taken a lot, but I can still successfully back off onto the armor. Get my turret back, and now I just need to concede. With how everything's happened and I haven't traded much damage, I just need to concede heavy again. Make sure that I can get this light armor. If I heard him at this light armor, I would rush over to the heavy and then take it. I know he's like going over there, so I'm going to take this and then use my turret to secure the next mega and see if I can catch him like overcommitting. So I block off the top first. I keep that there in case he pushes the top, and now I secure the bottom because he might want to push through here. So I'm taking position where I can dodge. I have more space to dodge, and he's more predictable to hit here in the choke. So I'm winning this LG fight. He has to back off. I switched to Tribolt at the right time for the right range.
Shutting down his advance and that turret. Just adding a little bit of insult right there because on top
and so I start taking good position to like try to secure this armor. And I know there's a lot of time between heavy and mega now. So I've done enough damage and secured items that I think I can get full control back again. So that's what I'm looking to do. I take the armor, I look to move into position since the light and this are like the same time. And I'm like, okay, he's giving it up, he's selecting the light. So I have time to work my way through here. And I want to go in for this fight because I know he's not too healthy. And there's potentially enough time before the mega that I can make the turret effective if he doesn't pounce on it. So I'm thinking he's over here. So I'm going to throw the turret into the room as I go in. And he ends up being here. He tried to catch me like coming through lower from heavy, like doubling back to fight late, or potentially like machine gun fight him and he would like all in me. But since he's here, I'm like, okay, the turret is to my right. It's going to take like 2 seconds to activate. And even though Mega is up, I can't just work my way over there in the time that this fight takes. I need to fight him and try to work my way out of the room.
Yeah, and I think the big there is
so we both deal a lot of damage. I successfully work my way out of the room. And during that whole time, the turret is getting set up. And what's really important is the direction that I came from. The turret is going to be set up looking in his general direction when it's ready to fire. I didn't like place the turret facing the opposite direction, so it's not going to take time to have to like turn 180 before it can fire him. Now he's in a terrible predicament. And I know if I just hide myself, the turret's going to do the job. So now I can move back in, collect the mega. Now I just want to focus on getting the turret back again because I'm like, okay, now I'm out of control. Like he could potentially push me. He hasn't used dual wield yet. I just need to do my best to steal mega, keep my distance, try to, stall control for now. So here I'm just playing with my weapon advantage, trying to keep distance, catch where he's going. And here, as soon as I see him, I'm just focused on grabbing this and getting out.
Now, Rapha
And I just luckily get out of here with taking no damage. I know I have to give up heavy. He's going to have dual wield. I can't contest it. So again, let me play for the light armor and let me get the turret set up again before the next mega. Let me try to use it to secure position. As he doesn't have LG yet either. So I secure this. And as soon as I hear him over there, I'm like, okay, he might try to all in me and rush me, which is kind of what he should have done. He should have like came in, popped dual wield at like full speed and tried to push the mega. But I'm positioning the way I do because my turret can help me in the fight, and I have an extra turret to lay down if I need to. So he kind of half commits. So I start firing LG early just in case, so I could catch him or maybe knock him back. And he starts getting hesitant. He's like, ah, shit. I didn't catch him off guard like I thought I would, so now I'm going to try to back up. So now I'm looking to like just dance between the weapon ranges he's likely to use and see if I can deal good damage while I take the mega. So I do. I catch him with free LG. I start trying to secure position again, force him out of the room. Unluckily, don't deal any MG damage, but it's okay. He collects the light armor, and now I'm just trying to see where he's going. What's he doing? And trying to catch him.
Megas and 3 heavies himself.
Now, I've been watching
so I collect this, and now I'm covering this exit because I know he might try to rush through here since he heard me above him and go to heavy. If he does, I might be able to just have good position with good rockets and get a kill. I'm spamming that in case maybe I get lucky. He comes out of LG too fast. And I accept it. I'm like, okay, he's going to have all guns and dual wield, but look how healthy I am. I'm super healthy, and I'm going to try to work my way back into Mega because I have turret. And what's really important, this is I don't know why it's taken him 4 minutes to use dual wield, but it's really, really important that when you play BJ, if he pops dual wield late to try to LG you, and you're pretty even, you could actually out LG him, because what happens is when he pops dual wield, his arms kind of pop out. And if you aim at his chest and not like his legs or whatever with LG, the whole time you could be hitting him at where his chest normally is, and his arms extend the chest hitbox. So as long as you're shooting at his chest, you could do a lot of damage, and that's what happens here. I switch, I focus on shooting at the chest so that no matter what, I'm going to pretty much hit LG, because it's actually really dangerous to use dual wield LG as BJ unless you catch them moving predictably. Really, the better guns to use in this matchup are dual wield super shotgun, dual wield rockets. Dual wield LG is like for catching BJ off spawn and collecting a free kill and getting it even cleaner than you expected. Fighting head to head with dual wield LG is very dangerous in this matchup, and he pays the price.
Make him most comfortable and somehow gets melted down with plenty of stack to tell the tale. This is looking like
so I get a kill, make him use ability, get the mega. So now I'm just looking to keep the pressure on, keep dealing chip damage, keep him away from items. Okay, and then as he's here, I'm like, okay, he has position, but he doesn't have a lot of guns. Let me try to work my way around. I catch him unpredictably. I start moving in, I'm forcing him out. Trying to be unpredictable with my dodging as I keep forcing him out. And I deal a shit ton of damage here with machine gun. As he leaves, I'm just keeping that pressure on so he's weak and he can't do anything. And this is just a lucky spam rocket, like anticipating that he's going to work his way over to shotgun because he doesn't think I'm going to go for it, then I'm going to go for mega. And that makes the situation even worse because now he ain't got shit. He doesn't even have a shred of armor. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take everything. It's mine. And I've dealt even more chip damage, and I just used Tri-Bolt from this range to cover him peeking back. And he happens to walk right into it. So now I know that I could probably get him at, around the mega based off the spawn, so I look for that first. Look to punish him. I do. And now I work back to heavy. I know I could have potentially gotten the light armor too, but I thought it was maybe a little too risky. If he kept running full speed, then he could gamble and get the heavy while I get the light. I'm just like, let me just take this and then try to catch him. So I hear the jump pad, and I know based off all the damage that I did, I could just all in him. So I do. Pick up another clean kill. I'm seeing if he'll go for the armor. He doesn't. I know he's hit rocket. Both are up, and I think he's not going to risk going up the pad, so I make the judgment that He's probably going to exit here, and I try to all in and catch him. He goes to LG, I place that down, so that if he leaves, it adds pressure. So it just makes him more predictable for me to push in. And so I know the other light armor's up, but I just am in a situation where I sacrificed getting all control for a frag. So now I get most control, so mostly all control. So now I'm going to take this armor, because if I go this way, based off how I got the kill, he won't spawn at heavy, he'll spawn at rocket.
What do? Right? You're sitting at
and I collect all this shit. And so now he's 100, 100, but I have a turret to let me know what's up.
I mean, there is not a whole lot Cypher does.
And here I keep the pressure on because I know my turret's coming back up soon. I have a lot of stack. And if he tries to push back in with dual wield here, he only has rockets and LG, and Mega's coming up, so I just want to keep the pressure on the choke. So I do, and then I work my way out to the safest angle. As soon as he does that, I'm like just trying to be unpredictable, trying to waste his time. And then here again, I'm super healthy. So unless he catches me like jumping in midair first with dual wield LG, it's not going to work out. So I know that I can take this position aggressively. So I switched, I'm aiming at his chest, I start fucking him up. He doesn't have anything to pick up. Now I need to follow up and try to get the kill. I don't. But that turret makes it so that he can't push and get lucky and get heavy. And so now I know, okay, I'm going to take a bit of a risk here before the Mega. I'm going to try to catch him at this armor because he won't have an escape. And I have all the guns that I need to try to take this fight. So I'm going to try to rush through here, deal some damage as he picks it up, and get position above him. I hit a nice rocket, and I'm like, okay, I should probably switch to mid-range now. And based off where he is and his position, and since he's using rockets, I don't stick with LG because the fight could last longer. And I'm like, I think he's going to push back into me to hide. So I switch to rockets, just jump at him, get a clean kill. And right here, I'm like, this game is over. There's like almost no way that I can lose this. I've just played it perfectly, just kept finding him, kept dealing damage at the right times, kept punishing him for small mistakes. I just kept controlling everything.
These two players, Cypher, unable to land a single frag so far, and not even able to climb out of the zero territory. Currently sitting on -1. This has, if anything, got to be a demoralizing.
So here, this is like a 50-50, and I know that I could potentially end the game even more, or like just make him weak and make it even more impossible for him to come back. So we're gonna fight it out. He gets the Mega. I deal a lot of damage as I die, and so I rush over to contest for this because I know he's weak. And this is just a little unlucky for him not to get another frag there. I place that there because I know the heavy's coming up, and if he just rushes out there, I might be able to like stall him with rockets in the turret and just kill him. And if not, it's whatever. It just makes him go the other way, and I can collect heavy. Well, that's it. We don't really need to talk about the rest of the game. It is what it is, but like, and like I said, I understand why he was trying to do what he was doing in the beginning by splitting the items, because he was trying to get a big advantage right away since he's down, you know, technically 0-3 in maps, and I just need to win one more, and he needs to win 4 straight. He's just trying to build some momentum in the series and get it back and get some confidence for himself. But when you do that, you cannot fail within that next cycle. You can't do it, and it literally failed in the worst way imaginable for him. Like, and it just is what it is. And once you get full control from there, like, it's really hard to fight against Eisen like that, especially when I was hitting as hard as I was, and I just played a perfect game. It's one of the most perfect games I've played in like a final scenario in a long time. I definitely saw the fist pumps. I hope he makes that his new like sub alert or whatever. That'd be pretty good. Yeah, and if people have asked, like, thinking, you know, like Cypher played bad or something. To be honest, he played really well the first 2 maps. I just was hitting so well in this final. I was thinking so well. I made almost no mistakes the entire time. And even still, the first 2 games were pretty damn close. Like I didn't win by too much on Molten, and Deep Embrace went to the last second. And then this game is just sometimes if you mess up too badly, Corrupted Keep can snowball out of control. Especially if the player in control is playing perfect. And that's just, that's what happened. So yeah. Was it all played online? Yes, it was. Pings. What was it? So what we would do is we would play like the fairest between us because I'm closest to the US Central server, so if I select that, I have like 2 or 3 ping. And most of the Euros ping like between depending on where they are, they ping between like 120 and 160 depending on their location to the Central server. So in my opinion, that's not really fair. I would rather play with like, what is it, like 35 ping to NA East, where most of them ping between 80 to 120. So I picked that one to make it more fair, and so they also pick the EU West server so that it's more fair as well, since that's in the UK. And I typically, when I play on that, I ping like 115-ish. On a good day with good routing, I can ping 105, but for the most part, it's around 115. And then Cypher was pinging 115 to NA East. And then to the EU West server, he was pinging like 55, I want to say. Something like that. Yeah, CK is one of my strongest maps, just for sure. My strongest maps have been like CK, Veil, Blood Covenant, Awoken. Those have all been really strong for me. And then I've gotten much stronger on Molten as of late. And then I seem to go through phases on Ruins where like I play and I feel like almost unbeatable. And then there's other times where it's like it feels like a big 50-50 map. I mean, playing Coach Chance for playing with the ping a little bit, like you have to adjust your playstyle a bit, but for the most part, I'm making decisions as if my ping is fine. Like the netcode, as long as you're not having a bunch of packet loss, that's the thing. Like if you're having a bunch of packet loss, it's just really tough shit. But if your connection is smooth, playing with high ping is still fine. And I just kind of still focus on playing as if it was LAN anyway. I don't really try to alter my decisions too much. If I notice throughout the course of the game that, okay, for some reason LG feels a bit smoother this game, or Rockets feel good, or blah, 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 then I might try to create a few more fights with those weapons. But other than that, I'm still making decisions as if we're 0 ping to 0 ping. My best maps from Quake Live, Hectic, Lost World, Toxicity, Elder. Those are probably my best. And then I was just really good on all the maps in Quake Live. The one that was kind of a toss-up for me were Blood Run and Sinister. But everything else I was really, really good at. T4 I was also very, very good at. Roselcopter, thanks. Or Roselcopter, whichever you want. Thanks for the sub. A lot of it is instinct in Royo, but I mean, in my mind, what I'm doing is I'm keeping track of all of the item times as best I can. I'm constantly thinking about where my opponent is, what his options are, and I'm trying to think how he's going to think. And what I should do from that. And I'm just trying to think about all of that as fast as I can and react accordingly. A lot of like weapon switching is instinctual. I don't have to think about that too much. But like the fights I want to take, the routes I want to take, what he's doing, I try to like think really quickly about all that shit. Yeah. No, I know. Vale actually is one of my best maps. I just had a really off tournament on it. Like if it's still in the pool for this stage, I'll definitely still be picking it. So this is what it is. Shit happens. Yes, I do also actively count the damage I deal and estimate the stack that they have in my mind. In my mind. Well, I mean, where else would I be? I guesstimate it in my heart. You know? Warm up, I would just say give yourself some warm up. Also, if you're playing while you're burnt out, like you're playing too much, yeah, that'll affect your aim too, because then you're just going through the motions and you're not focusing as well. Ulta mullet, for timing, you just need to like repeat them out loud for yourself. Remember the order in which the items are coming up. Then B, repeat out loud the timings until you don't need to be repeating them out loud anymore. That it's just second nature for you to be timing them and for you to know. It is so much better to know the exact timing of the item than to guesstimate it. Roof, Degas, that's cheating. And fuck cheating. No help with timers and shit like that. You gotta learn to do it yourself. Casalto, possibly. Roof, yeah. If you can't add 30, there's a real problem. And for real, like you shouldn't even be adding 30. Timing doesn't work like that. The easiest way to do timing is to think of it like you're playing a game of memory, like you're flipping over cards and you want to flip over the other one that equals it. Or just think about like it's two different languages. So in this game, it's so much easier. It's like, oh, if I pick up the item at 15, it means it's coming up at 15, 45, 45, 45, 15. They're like interchangeable. So as long as you keep that, like you know that number equals the other number, that's it. You don't have to sit there and go, okay, as I'm making my way over to the rocket launcher, what's 15 plus 30? Oh, you got 5 plus 0 is 5, 3 plus 1 is 4, up to 45. Well, then all that time it took you to like crunch that number in your head, you can just be like 15 equals 45. That's it. It's just like memorizing multiplication. So if you need to make some flashcards for yourself, do it. To put it simply, yes, Ink Dipper. New Quake Champions champ when? No idea. I mean, whoever wins stage 3 will be crowned a champion. That's a loophole through what you're asking. But Roof Hefe. Oh man. Alright, give me. Roof math nerd gamer. No. Can you review your post game interview? No. Thanks for the laugh, though. Xmos, Rapha, who did you emulate or look up to when you started playing Quake? The players that I looked up to and emulated the most were Lexer, 04, and Cooler. Those were the ones. And then, yeah, I obviously liked, watching Fatality when I was growing up. Socrates, Chaotix, CZM. But I molded my playstyle around Lexer, 04, and Cooler the most. Thanks, Kuplin. I appreciate it. Rapha, how do you win against somebody if you can't reach up to their aim? Well, so, I mean, that's been my case for most of my career. So that's about you need to make the right decisions and hold the right position to take fights that are easier to aim, and you need to be leaving yourself an escape. You need to like stall people so that you're collecting the items and that you're healthier than they are. You have to win by controlling the map more so than out aiming them. How old am I? I turned 32 in March. 32. Yeah, sorry, Dirtspruit. I try to do a bunch at once and then not do them for a long while, type deal. So, because I have to run so many, type deal. Yeah, it is what it is. I try to make it as convenient as possible for you guys. Holy Uxmos. Rapha, I'm not very familiar with Lexer. Is there any notable games of his I can watch? Holy shit, let me link you to a game. Holy. Probably one of the biggest comebacks to have ever happened. It was like one of the first ones in a tournament where it was huge. Let me find this shit. Lexer versus Chaotix. Please. It's in his point of view. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Holy shit. Okay. This is back from 2002. It was at QuakeCon. Don't be sorry. Just enjoy the show that you will watch. There you go. There's the link to it. You can watch it in your own time, which is probably right now. Have fun warm up. Take care. Rue Fury Energy. It's a lot of kills. You're welcome, Mr. Pistolero. Or should I say Senor Pistolero? I like the good graphics. I don't mind. As long as the game runs decently smooth, which I have a pretty darn decent machine. Thank you, Alienware. That sponsor plug. Wow. But for real, I have a good enough machine that I can run the lighting quality on high and pretty much keep the frames at 240 almost all the time. So helps me. And the thing, dude, even though yes, like Quake Live, Quake 3 ran so smooth at like shitty graphics, the game looks so fucking bad when it's like that, you know? and it can look so much better. And if you're developing a game, dude, just imagine it now. Like, just imagine if Doom Eternal looked like that. Doom Eternal looks awesome because it's like doing a good job of pushing the graphics but not too far. There's like a good balance of that. And that's what you need going forward as a game. You need a game that people can still run, but can push the limits with the new technology. Super Devise, I think there's a command for that. There you go. There you go. You can read that. I've had to answer it so many times that I don't want to. I'd rather just pop the command and let you read. How can one improve strafe jumping skills? By fucking practicing it. Add a QC! Come on. Well, that was a low-hanging fruit there. For real, like, watch how the pros are moving their crosshair when they're strafe jumping, and you need to practice that yourself. And once you get a feel, seriously, once you get a feel of how you're gaining speed, it's like riding a bike. You'll never forget it again. You'll just have to like warm up and get used to it again. That's it. It'll get to the point where it's like driving a car, you know, like when you feel when the acceleration is off, when like it's not acting right, or become one with it, braking and accelerating. It's the same with moving within the game. You could become better than me at movement. I believe. You just got to practice a little bit. I cap FPS at 240. Positive, a style thing. And also, I don't hit as many rails as kills him, typically. Omarak, how do you keep your reflexes sharp? Trying to eat a bit better. Make sure you drink enough water. Definitely, if you're drinking caffeine of some sort, make sure you're definitely drinking enough water so that you don't get the shakes. Shakes is bad when it comes to aiming. And then just play. Like, just need to be playing consistently. Computer outdated in bio. Okay, well, thank you. Then I will try to update that going into this next week. Thank you. Why am I not a coach? What do you mean? If it's for another game at the same time, then I don't have the time. Well, thanks, Gutter Magic. I hope it helped. Any alternatives to energy drinks to keep you focused? I think it's just all about discipline and getting yourself in a state of mind that when you're playing, that's all you think about. That literally you zone out everything else in your world. And that's all you're focused on. That's it. You just have to like find a way to get into that zone and just be in the present moment. Don't think about the past. Just think about the now and how it affects the future. Do I meditate? No, I don't. Oh, Mr. Nero, I mean, I could do it, but I don't know. I just haven't really done it in a while. Right now I'm just playing competitively. I'm sponsored by Liquid. I just play Quake at the moment. Just play Quake, stream. Just, with everything that happened last year, just trying to keep my life together. Focusing on that. That's pretty much it. And like with COVID, it's kind of hard to go do anything, which is understandable. It's like reckless to go do a bunch of shit. So, yeah, Liquid does treat me really well. Will I review my Quake Live games? I don't know. I'm not sure. Do I have any kids? No, I don't. Not yet. Infector, that's a good question. You said something about, and this will be the last one that I answer, guys, and then I'm gonna go chill. You said something about doing more analysis and less playing as you get older. How much do you typically practice before a tournament? So if you look at like how this Quake Pro League is scheduled right now, we have 13 weeks for our week league matches, and we play each other once, right? So we play 9 times, and we have 4 bye weeks. So on the weeks that I play, so let's say like week 1 coming up, I actually don't know if I play or not. I find out tomorrow. So if I play this coming Sunday, then what happens is like on Monday or at earliest like Tuesday morning, pick maps with whoever my matchup is, do all the pick bands so that I have my matchups, and then I just practice during the week. Few hours almost every day. I try to practice a lot on Friday, a little bit on Saturday, and then so that I'm fresh for the match on Sunday. So I do that throughout the course of the season. But then as we get closer to the playoffs, so like 2 weeks leading up to it, that's when I really start to pick up my hours. So I go from playing like 10 to 20 hours a week to trying to pick that up a lot. And so I go from making sure that every single day I'm playing like 2 to 4 hours. And then I'm reviewing all of those games, pretty much all of those games. And then as like the last week and a half to week gets there, I'm really trying to play about 6 hours a day. And then I might make it 8 if I feel good enough, because I got to make sure that I'm not overplaying and like messing with my wrist and my shoulder. But I'm playing like that because it creates. Because if you look at the season, we only have 1 match a week, whereas the playoffs, at some point, if you make it deep enough, you're going to have to play a lot of matches in one day. And it takes a lot mentally to be focused that entire time and to bring out your very best. It actually is very fucking draining to be pushing your mind to the limit like that. So it's a good conditioning to do leading right up to the tournament. And then the day before the tournament, I typically take it a little bit more relaxed, let my mind kind of process everything that I've done the last 2 weeks, just make sure that I'm fresh going into the tournament. And then I just warm up accordingly on the day of. But it gets me prepared to play the extended days that I need. And then also what I'm doing, especially since we're having to play online, once I know what the schedule is likely going to look like, I start trying to wake up earlier and earlier as we get closer to it so that I get more acclimated to, and even still, like we have to wake up so early on some of the days in NA that I'm still going to be tired, but I have to like force myself to stay up, force myself to get used to that schedule because that's what it's going to be like. And it's just like some of the Europeans are going to have to stay up later. So they should, the week or two leading up to it, they should adjust their schedule and they should focus more on staying up a bit late, waking up at a better time to give them, ample time and energy to play throughout the tournament, et cetera, et cetera. So that's that. All right. I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed the review. Let me see here. It looks like Sturmy is playing something. I don't know what he's playing some new game. So I guess we should check it out. Playing some game called Scavengers, whatever that is. So I'm gonna send you guys over to Sturmy. Love you guys. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.